Welcome back, our lovely fans, to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live. I just got scared for a second because I had it on my computer and it was blasted. My volume was, so I thought it was going to be a little interference here. I am Andy Krutzinger.
Yes, you are.
And you are?
Hunter Moeller.
And Nick is?
Nick Steffens.
That's right. And we're here. We're Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Really, more like 1:15 usually because we're scrambling to get deadline done. We talk about some spring sports, some high school sport. We don't talk about spring sports year round.
Nope.
We talk about spring sports in the spring.
Yep.
And college and high school athletics and good stuff like that. So if you're watching this, you are, where are they watching us, Hunter?
Well, if you're on YouTube, you'd be watching Washington Live. You can also find us at Fairfield Live Facebook, Mount Pleasant Live Facebook as well. We're also on Spotify at Washington Live, Spotify there, if you want to listen to us and not watch us. But I always say that every time, but you can watch it on Spotify too. You have the little video aspect now. Just forget about that. So, yeah.
What if I have a parental lock on my computer and I don't get any of those sites, but I only get Twitter? Can we look it up on Twitter?
Twitter and click on the link that you just posted to bypass the
That's right.
YouTube. But we're at Southeast. Well, what are we?
At Union Sports
Union
page.
Sports,
At Union Sports page.
I always just click on it and tweet. I never I should pay attention.
Yeah, that's
Union Sports.
At Union Sports page. We got a pretty good following. Not to brag. We got
we hit over 1,000 a couple months ago.
We hit over 1,000 a couple months ago. We are currently we hit over 1,000 recently because I don't want to say a couple months ago. We hit over 1,000 like a couple weeks ago.
It was during our college basketball.
It was during our college basketball bracket challenge, which Nick won. Nicky Brackets. The reason I have to say that we didn't hit over 1,000 2 months ago is because right now we are at 1,003. So that would mean we only had.
It was actually like 2 weeks ago.
It was actually like 2 hours ago. Yeah. So we're gonna talk first off some big news. Well, Hunter was at the draft, which that went pretty well. You said, right?
Yeah.
No local kids though, unfortunately.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think any of them
I was just
signed up for the eligibility.
I was just surprised to see Luke Van Ness go 13th.
Yeah, that was awesome. Actually, that wasn't awesome because we went to the Packers.
Right.
And I was, let's see, that would have been Thursday. So I wasn't at Drake yet. And I was putting my kids to bed. And then my wife's like, hey, I got some bad news. I was like, what? She's like, Luke, something Ness from Iowa? I was like, yeah. She's like, drafted by the Packers. She just walked by the TV and saw it. And I was like, oh.
Jack Campbell, Lions. Lions got some good,
all the teams that play against the Bears always get the Hawkeye players. And then it turns.
Then you got to watch
tough
them.
one for me. Yeah, it's upsetting. Anyway, while you were at the draft, I was at Drake Stadium, home of the Drake Relays as well as state. But we had some big finishers at Drake. I figured what I would do is I'm going to take it day by day, Hunter, because that's what I do with the stories a little bit. Because we had a few kids every single day. So the day I was not there, because I was something else that we'll talk about later, was a Thursday, and had a big day in the field on Thursday. We had 4 local kids in the boys high jump, which is crazy because you get 22-ish kids in there, and 4 of them are from the Southeast Iowa Union area. 3 of them got top 10, including Kane Brown, who saved his best for the Blue Oval.
Yep.
6'9". We've seen him jump at the Blue Oval a couple times, and he finally kind of reached that kind of elite mark. He third place for Kane Brown from Mid Prairie, senior. He's been jumping at Drake for a long time, waiting to get a mark like this. So he's had some pretty good finishes. This is his best one ever. And Cade Benjamin from New London, 6th at 6'7". So he was just a couple rungs down from Brown. Mm-hmm. And then Tristan Miller for Columbus, 9th, 6'5". And by the way, if Tristan Miller can jump, can jump 6'5" and get, what would that get in the Class 1A state meet?
That would be second,
third, something like that.
Benjamin's right. Cade Benjamin is leading Class 1A at the 6'7" mark, and Tristan Miller's right behind him at, I believe, 6'6.5", I believe.
That's what they have. 6'6", and something like that. So, a theme that we saw was one that we thought we'd see is that Columbus scored really high even at Drake, which means they are really, really set up well going to state a couple weeks from now. They have a big potential similar to that. Not to put too much pressure on, but similar to that of New London last year when we saw how many potential points that the Tigers could get. Tyler Stoltz of Van Buren County, 24th, 6'1", junior. So he's the only one of those 4 that was not jumping in his, that hopefully is not jumping in his last Drake relays. So the other 3 are seniors. And then we had a couple shot putters. We had Braden Hartman of Washington and Isaac Gerald of Mount Pleasant. Hartman 8th, throws it 53 feet 8 inches, and Isaac Gerald 48 and a half feet. So pretty darn good from Hartman there. Washington and Mount Pleasant have been going back and forth. I think you covered. You just wrote up a track meet from Fairfield last night?
Yeah,
that showed how close these two teams are.
Yep.
Tied exactly, right?
Yep.
Last night,
137 points.
137. So those two obviously are big in the when the conference comes around, state qualifier. And then another one in the field, we had Anna Hadley of Pekin, freshman, 22nd in the discus at 110 feet. So her Drake Stadium debut. And what?
Who was that for?
Pekin's Anna Hadley. She's a freshman, so this is her first. Man, Pekin's got a lot of good younger.
Yeah.
We talk about they're in cross country. Now they got throwers coming at us. The Pekin girls, actually, I look at the power rankings for varsity bound, and they are up there. I think they have them at 4th or 5th. So in those power rankings that they put out, you always see the Mid Prairie girls. You always see the Columbus boys, Pekin girls now. And so
I feel like that kind of flew under the radar for us because it's like.
A little bit.
Because I think I've only seen Pekin once at one meet, like all year long, because, we have to go to the big schools, and they've only been with the big schools at least once, and it's...
Yeah, that's true. I saw Pekin. I definitely saw him in Washington. I definitely saw him in Mount Pleasant. And I think I saw him in Washington earlier this year. Well, and Pekin's got... they got a good freshman class for the girls, and so that helps boost their... their projected points. And so we'll see how that plays out. And then we had one on the track on Thursday, Danielle Hostetler of Mid Prairie, 10th in the 3,000. Now we will get to her a little bit later with, very shortly later here with a little bit more. But those were your Thursday results. So on Thursday, I was in good old Southeast Iowa. That all happened. And then first thing Friday morning, woke up at like 5 o'clock. So I get over to Des Moines because we had some early athletes on Friday, and among the big placements Friday, the 110 hurdles, we knew we'd have a pretty good shot there with Tristan Miller of Columbus and Will Davidson of Mount Pleasant. I show up. That's the first thing on the track when I get there. They both qualify for the finals. And Tristan Miller qualifies second, gets second in the 110-meter high hurdles, and Will Davidson qualifies 5th, gets 4th. So 2 out of the top 4 in the 110-meter high hurdles. So one of my favorite events, obviously. We're a big hurdle area.
And didn't Tristan Miller run like second fastest time in the state? And almost like, and it was like I saw a tweet where he ran, I think, the second time in the state this year, and it was like the 12th best time all time.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Well, I know that
something crazy like that.
I didn't ask him, but one of the other reporters in the interview asked him if I told you were going to run 14:24 in the finals, 14:17 in the preliminaries, and he was like, "Oh, I thought you said you're crazy" or something like that. So he was pretty stoked about it. Will was pretty stoked about his 4th place finish. Those are both huge. Those are both potential huge point getters. Will, by the way, Will Davidson also ran on Friday the 100-meter dash, 1 spot off from qualification. He finishes 9th. Columbus's Caden Amagon 19th, and Bowden Pickle of New London 32nd. But I'll say that Bowden was the number 1 coolest looking runner. I'm not sure if you saw him. The New London Facebook page posted the picture I have of him.
Tongue out,
the sunglasses, tongue out. Yeah, so he definitely looked top notch over there. Another event we had 2 top 4s in. We had a winner in, and we kind of expected this a little bit, but in the 400 mixed relay, so they had boys and girls run at the same time. Mid Prairie's Jaden Stafford, after 3 second place finishes at state last year, a minute 4.06 seconds. Mid Prairie sophomore is a Drake Relays champion, and he's probably going to be the favorite for the next couple of years. And right behind him was freshman Josh Anderson from Washington, who just started doing wheelchair races this year. Talked to him about it a little bit during basketball season. He's the manager over at Washington, and he's pretty excited about it. So he got 4th. So those are 2 huge spots. They'll go at it again at state. So we'll see.
Stafford's leading in, I think, all 3 of the wheelchair races right now.
Yep, so. He is the favorite in the 1, 2, and 4. Yep. But he still prefers basketball. He said, he still likes basketball better. Yeah. So even though he's winning all these races.
I remember him talking to him about that last year.
Yeah, and then another big one, 400-meter dash. We have a back-to-back state champion. It could be a 3-time state champion if it wasn't for COVID. Elijah Morris of Washington, senior. He had not run since the West Burlington meet, which was at the beginning of the year. He got hurt. He had a lower body injury. He gets second. Gave it his all because he was out of it in the media room. Really, so he gave it everything he got, and he came about this close to a Drake Relays championship. In fact, when I was taking his picture at the finish line, I thought that he had won until I looked at his face and saw that he wasn't celebrating. So 48.52 seconds on that one.
Man.
And by the way, between Morris of Washington and Davidson of Mount Pleasant, they're top 5 or 6, and they go 4 events. and in fact, Elijah said he hopes to win the 1, 2, 4, and one of the relays. He's like, my goal is 40 points when it gets to state, which of course would potentially translate to
at one
Washington.
point he was leading the state in all 4 events. So
yeah, he could he absolutely could do
and
that.
He's right up at I think he's top 2 and top 3 in everyone in the class. So.
Yes, he is. Those sprints he dominates. Mid Prairie's 4x2 team, Madeline Shader and Mara Jones, Jovi Evans, and Tabitha Evans got 9th. Another one just out of the top 8. Long jump, Cam Buffington finishes 11th, right? Yes.
I believe that was.
No, wait, yes. And Kane Brown got 16th. So I randomly put Kane Brown's name after Cam's in my little results thing. That didn't show up in the newspaper. But actually for a while I was standing there and Cam was the bubble boy. But Abu Sama from Southeast Polk still hadn't jumped yet. So I was like, well, he had jumped. He jumped like 18 feet. And then so I don't even know what he did. He might have just...
Everybody clapping again?
He might have... no, he didn't need to. He just went out there and dominated. But he jumped 18 feet. I didn't see his first jump. I just saw on the sheet that he only jumped 18. I assumed that he skipped up there and then did a 360 or something because he went out and did like 23 the next jump. So that was all for Friday. Ooh, catching my breath over here. You still with me? Everyone still got Drake fever? Yeah. We're going.
I'm listening.
On Saturday. So one thing that the Drake Relays does is they do invite a lot of 4x1 teams. And we had 3 4x1 teams in the boys and girls. In the girls, Mid Prairie 21st, Mount Pleasant 51st, Fairfield 92nd. In the boys qualifying, Columbus qualified 8th, Mount Pleasant 65th, and Washington got 85th. Now, top 8 qualify for the finals. Later that day, Columbus jumps to 6th. They even beat West Burlington, who the local team. West Burlington only got 8th. Columbus got 6th, so that could be huge. They can run those kind of times in, 43.24, and the qualifier didn't write down their finals time. That could be huge when it comes to state. And then let's see, we had a third place. Let me talk about Danielle Hostetler of Mid Prairie. Third place. That was our best result on Saturday. In the 1500, I think she came in seated somewhere between 6th and 8th. And she led for a little while. I mean, it was a third place where, 3 or 4 girls were at the front.
I saw it was, I saw it was like 2 seconds separating her and the leader or something.
Yeah. She closed a huge gap. I told her after the races, the first time I'd ever seen, she runs so smoothly, and you could see her gritting her teeth coming around the, she really gave it everything that she could. So that's huge, third place, especially after a, 10th in the 3,000. So she's got 2 more top 10s at Drake. Yep. Obviously, she's going to be one of the favorites in those distance races in Class 2A girls come state.
Yeah, and she's only a junior.
State meet, and she's only a junior somehow. So she's got more. More
I think she's only a junior.
She is only a junior, so she's got more in the trophy case coming up. Let's see, what else do we got here? What haven't I talked about? We talked about the 4x1s.
400 hurdles. 400
hurdles. We had Will Davidson and Gabriel Hemsworth. Gabe was 4th, I think, coming in, and Will was 6th or something like that. So neither of them had a fantastic race. One thing that did happen is it started raining before the second heat, which was in the second heat, and so the second heat guys had a little bit more wetness on the.
I was talking to Gabe's mom, and she showed me a video of him he almost tripped over the first hurdle, and that kind of messed up his momentum, and then
he said he had I wish I'm supposed to be sending Nick these quotes. I should have sent him the entire interview from Hemsworth, because he had some golden quotes. One I remember is he said he started singing Jesus Bring the Rain. He's like, I started singing Jesus Bring the Rain, and he really brought it.
Yep.
He said I should have. He's like, next time maybe a little bit longer cleats. So and he was just talking about how happy he was to be there. And then I didn't ask him. Somebody asked him. Was it like, maybe I asked him to be there at Drake with all those other like athletes, professional athletes, and college athletes. So he's like, "Oh, it's fun. It seems like everybody's bigger than me." But and so he was in really good spirits. Will got 9th. And he was in good spirits too. There, despite the rain, it was kind of
always raining at Drake.
Yeah, it was always raining at Drake. Will Davidson 9th, 55, just over 55 seconds, and Hemsworth 16th, 58.66 seconds. So we'll see if they can improve on those times. I'm sure that they will both be heavy favorites to qualify for the state meet.
Yep.
So did I miss anybody? Oh well, one thing I saw a couple of our old college pals, not our old college pals.
Uh-oh.
But our
you mean people that were around there that were in the area and then now
yes,
are in college.
that are now in college. So Iowa Wesleyan's lone athlete, by the way, Karan Blackwell, jumped against Sam Beatty, who was a former Mount Pleasant prep. Sam got 9th in there. Karan was a little bit behind him. On Thursday, Abby Ryan, a former Mount Pleasant prep, got I think 16th in the 5,000. She runs for Iowa now. Jaden Brumbaugh, who basically ran the Drake relays for a number of years in the shot put, got 2nd for Iowa State. I talked to Carson McSorley, New London prep, was there in 5th year. By the way, I realized when I was talking to Carson McSorley that I started doing sports editing when she was, I think, a freshman in high school. So she's, I think, the last kid that still does athletics that was here when I got here. Kind of makes you old a little bit. And you were a senior in high school in the exact same high school.
Yeah, exactly.
And here she is still running. She ran the 4x4 for Wartburg. They just missed qualification. And then let's see, who haven't I said? I said Abby Ryan, said Sam Beatty, Jaden Brumbaugh. I said
Lexi Brown was
Lexi Brown.
Yep,
Lexi Brown, also a Wartburg track and field athlete. She ran a distance thing. She got 16th in her event. So so there we go. I got stories about all that stuff. So if anybody didn't get all of that, we got it all in the paper. So Monday, Tuesday, we've got some pictures. I think tomorrow I'm going to put a picture page in because there's a lot of good pictures that didn't get in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to pat myself on the back and say they were good pictures, but they were pictures.
We had some great pictures last year, though.
Oh, thank you.
I'm looking forward to that.
And so, it's fun. We got state coming up, conference this week for track.
Yep.
State qualifier next week. And then state the next week.
Yeah.
After that.
Coming up quick.
And I'm glad that it's my turn to stop talking. Now we're gonna.
I'll make it short and sweet so you can jump right back in.
Yeah, good point. Why don't you tell us what happened in soccer? You you jumped around yesterday because you were in Fairfield going everywhere. But tell me what happened in the Washington Fairfield boys soccer game yesterday.
Yeah, Washington taking on Fairfield. First time these two teams. This is the second meeting of the two teams. Final regular season. First time they met was a 1-0 winner for Washington. The Demons kind of extended that this time around. Ended up with Washington on top 5-1. Really, the Demons came out and kind of made their mark early. They scored back-to-back goals in the first minute of the game. Edwin Cortez and Joshua Perez scored a pair within the first minute there, and then Fairfield created some chances, just couldn't find the back of the net. 30 in the 33rd minute. Emmanuel Raimundo, who ended up who also assisted on Perez's goal, scored one to make it 3-0, and then kind of rode out the rest of the game into the half, and then after half, Washington added 2 more. Fairfield was able to get one back. Raimundo scored one for the Demons there, and then Freddie Aguilar scored another one as well, to put the Demons on top 5-1. So, Washington sweeps Fairfield there in soccer in the regular season here. Washington playing well still. Will Gilchrist Brock had 8 saves in the game. Washington improves to 7-4 on the year. Fairfield 3-6. And that marks 4 straight wins for Washington over Fairfield, but Fairfield still holds firm control over the historic record, 21-6.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Big Washington win there, though.
Yeah, that was a big
They kind of got back on track after a couple tough losses there.
Yeah, they lost to Fort Madison. They lost to Burlington there at home. So they're still one of the more dangerous teams. They almost beat Fort Madison again last week. Couldn't quite get that one done. Yep. So that's all you got for soccer right now, right? Yes. I was also at a soccer game for a little longer than you because I only had soccer yesterday.
Yep.
In Washington, Fairfield girls traveled to Washington. Trojans struggling to find wins this season, and they didn't find a win, but they found a wind because it was like 35 miles an hour wind yesterday. And it didn't really slow down the Demons too much. It did kind of early on. Washington 8, Fairfield 0. The Demons have now won 2 in a row after losing 3 straight going into that. Washington had a couple goals early, and then there was kind of a 20-minute stretch there. There was actually a stretch there. So Washington started with the wind at their back, and then they scored 2 in the first 20 minutes. Then there was a good 20-minute stretch there where they weren't scoring. They were getting a lot of shots. Ivy Larson, the goalkeeper for Fairfield, was making a lot of saves. I was taking pictures right by the net, and they were peppering her with shots. She made so many saves that at one point she made one, and a couple of the defenders mobbed her afterwards and started shaking her. Oh my gosh, she's kind of they call it standing on your head when you're doing that in the hockey world when you're facing a lot of shots, and so she was standing on her head a little bit. But eventually, Washington had a third. That was Giselle Marcelino who had the third there. That kind of broke it open a little bit. That was with 4 minutes left in the first half. And a little bit before that, Savannah Hollander actually had a little breakaway that she could have cut that to 2-1. And, I kind of thought during that, when is it Washington's back? If this goes 2-1, 2-0, or 3-1, then Fairfield's kind of still in it. Fairfield got a little unlucky because by the second half, it was more of a crosswind. So Fairfield really never got to play with the wind solely, squarely on their back. But either way, the crosswind was there, and Washington. Mason Quigley, the coach for Washington, said after the game he thinks that maybe they just like the challenge of going against the wind because they're going against the crosswind, and they were lasering them in left and right. Wow. So 8-0. Alex Murphy led the way with a hat trick. 3-0. So three goals last night, including the opener and the closer. So Marcelino had a couple. Both the Andersons had one. So it was Washington got to see the ball going a little bit. They're a good team. They hadn't been scoring a lot. I remember after the Mount Pleasant game, it was 3 or 4 games in a row where they'd scored 1 or 2 or 0 goals. So
and they've been in a little bit of a slump too, right?
Yeah, they've just been losing a lot of lower scoring games.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of back on top of the mountain a little bit. Beat Meepo the other day, beat Fairfield yesterday. So there we go. And then Mount Pleasant, a couple of tough losses to Burlington last night. That was 6-0 in the boys' game. And then was it also 6-0 in the girls' game? I believe so.
I think so.
Let me just make sure here so I'm not lying on the internet. Who would go on the internet and tell lies?
Right.
What's that from?
Girls soccer 3-0.
Boys soccer.
And boys soccer 6-0.
Oh, girls soccer 3-0. I said 6-0 for both. Why did I do that? Yep. I got the email from Coach Rocco Russo, and I was attributing the girls' game when I was looking that up earlier. 6-0. That'll be in the newspaper on Thursday. So that's all we have for soccer and track. And I'm tired. So we should take a commercial break.
A little break?
Yeah.
Then we'll jump into some tennis, some golf.
We're going to jump into some tennis, some golf,
and then
tell Iowa Wesleyan later.
Yeah, we'll jump into some sad.
Yeah, it's a sad, spoiler, it's sad happy.
Yeah, there you go.
So there we go. So we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Is a locally owned bank providing award-winning customer service. We believe that we are more than just a federation of banks, but a federation of communities, serving Brighton, Richland, Wellman, and Washington, Iowa. Federation Bank's highly skilled staff is here to make sure you are able to accomplish your personal and professional goals, whatever they may be. Federation Bank, your family bank.
Hospice isn't a place, it's a type of care that focuses on living. Servicing a 7-county area, the Hospice of Washington County staff of nurses, social work, hospice aides, spiritual and grief support, volunteers, music and massage therapists are able to provide free end-of-life care where the patient lives. We write wills, give consent for organ donation, but rarely is there a plan for what we would want the final phase of our lives. At Hospice of Washington County, we encourage our patients to be in charge of their healthcare decisions while maintaining quality of life.
At the Capper Auto Group, we put our customers' needs first and understand that everyone is as different as the vehicle they select. We offer new Ford, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, and Ram vehicles in a friendly environment that puts you in the driver's seat. When it comes to service, we maintain factory-trained technicians and competitive pricing. The Capper Auto Group still believes that service after the sale provides the best customer experience. Come see the Capper experience for yourself.
Tammy takes the time and has the personal interest in each one of us. I don't worry about what's going to happen because I know my policy is taken care of.
She pulls what I need and puts it together, which is the program I get from her.
Every year she calls around September, so it says, there's changes again, and I'm going to do the best thing for you. It's been perfect. She does a great job.
At 5 Star Community Credit Union, we want to help you lead a better life. We offer competitive rates and convenient appointment times for all kinds of loans: auto, recreational vehicles, home equity, line of credit, holiday, and personal loans. We make it easy to build your credit and enjoy the good things in life.
We invite you to join 5 Star Community Credit Union. We are community-minded and member-focused. Come visit our locations in West Burlington and Mount Pleasant or online at 5starcu.org. Federally insured through the NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back. My mind is blown over some breaking news that I just got that we're going to save for the next commercial break. That really doesn't matter to you guys as much as it matters to me. But Hunter just enlightened me on something that he saw on Facebook. So you're going to want to stick for the Southeast Iowa for Sports Talk's second break. Just putting that out there right now. And now I got a little rattled on what I was going to do. We're on Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live. We're on the Washington Facebook, Washington, Mount Pleasant, and Fairfield Facebook Lives, and also on YouTube, Washington Live, Spotify, Washington Live, Twitter @Union Sports page. Quick update on the world of golf, especially the world of girls. Well, I'll talk about boys and girls because Washington hosted a meet in Riverside yesterday at Blue Top Ridge, one of the best named golf courses in this entire area.
Right.
And you'll never guess, but Washington won again. Not even going against Southeast Conference teams. The girls shot under 400. They shot under 400 with really 5 golfers because Adeline Long was sick, and so she couldn't finish the.
She's good too.
Meet. Yeah, she's very good. I mean, she could have been one of the top scorers there. Girls team scores: Washington over Lisbon and Oskaloosa, 397, 426, 490. I'll let you guess which one. Well, remember that the low score is the best, though, before you guess which one's Washington.
Right.
Boys team scores: Washington 342, Pella Christian 354, Oskaloosa 362, and then Pella Grinnell Newton were all there also, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So, double demon winner. You'll never guess who was first and second. You want to guess who's first and second? Girls.
McKenna Conrad, number 1.
No, flip them. It was Kaylin Long this time.
Number 1.
I didn't think you were going to say who got first and second. I was just looking for 2 names. Kaylin Long and McKenna Conrad continue their 1-2 punch. That's not always 1-2 punch because Lauren Briggs from Burlington beats them every once in a while. I think one of the Fairfield girls got one of them this year. Either way, they're really good. Kaylin Long shot a 94. McKenna Conrad shot 95. Now, those scores aren't as good as they usually are for the Washington girls. Why do you think that was?
I'm assuming because it was so windy.
Because it was so windy. Coach said over 30-mile-an-hour winds. I believe her because I was in Washington yesterday, and it sure felt like over 30 miles an hour.
Being out there for soccer, it's wide open, isn't it?
Yeah. Mallory Johnson, 4th overall with 103. Mace Williams, 106. And Haley Mitchell, 108. And then I said Alan Long had illness there. Roman Roth leads the way. He gets medalist honors on the boys' side with an 80. Drew Conrad and Rajan Roth, 85 and 86. Luke Bean Blossom, 91. Teague Meyer shot 93. Isaac Vetter shot 106. Also, by the way, because we haven't got a lot of small school golf updates in here, and I should have had it ready, but we have a story on the WMU and New London golf meet on Friday. New London Tigers won both. Look at this girl score. I know how good they are. We'll go to the boys first. Boys, New London barely over WMU, 376, 381. Mason Shelly, 84. Wyatt Miller, 88 for New London. I just realized that they have his name spelled wrong on the sheet, and I think that I have it wrong on the newspaper because I'm pretty sure my brain was off today. I just typed it up, so I hope not. Wyatt Miller.
Oh, Wyatt Miller.
Yeah. Carter Lloyd for WMU with an 86, Jake Edwards 96, and Andrew Brown 99. So those are all the sub 100s. I will say Cohen Fitzpatrick for New London shot 100. The New London girls, we know how good they are.
Yep.
I was thinking about earlier how if you were to take all the programs that we cover in a hat and have us draft it NFL draft style, I would be taking either New London or Washington girls golf first. They're always at the top. Last night, New London girls shot a 359. We had a 78 out of Taylor Phillips, which beat all golfers. boys and girls. Sophie Malott, 84. Emma Busby, 91. Emma Nye, 106. Stevie Wintermeyer, 114. And Izzy Nye, 118. Sorry to the boys. I just read off a few of the boys, and I just totally read off all the girls. That wasn't my plan to snub the boys there. WMU, Allie Humphreys, 105. Ann Anderson, 108. Isabel Can got 114 for WMU. So WMU scored 448. So 359, 448. New London girls looking every bit as much as a state championship contender as they always are.
Yeah, and talking about Washington, New London, I believe Taylor Phillips and McKenna Conrad are, I think they're tied for like 12th in the state and then 18th
in total.
Below.
Yeah,
There's 76.
I need to see New London and Washington play in the same meets sometimes.
That'd be fun.
Just go at it. But there needs to be a home and home. We'll set it up.
That'd be fun.
Southeast Iowa Union Showdown, because they never get a golf against each other, and that would be a good challenge.
Right.
So there's your quick golf update. We'll have more conferences coming up in Fairfield for the Southeast Conference. We're going to be hitting golf hard here pretty soon.
Yeah.
So don't worry about it, golf fans.
Right. And then jumping over to some tennis real quick. Like Andy said earlier, I was in Fairfield, Illinois. I might start golfing. Excuse me. The Fairfield boys dominant showing 9-0 over Keokuk. The girls fell narrowly 5-4. I might have to go get a drink here.
Uh-oh.
My throat is tickling.
You want this leftover coffee from the morning show?
I probably shouldn't. Sorry, be right back.
All right, go ahead. I'm going to talk about... no, you're good. Hey, that was the first time that Hunter's had to leave. Remember I had that episode like a few months ago? Now we're 1-1. Hunter walked off just like I walked off. So... Anyway, what should we talk about? Because I was going to let Hunter do his thing.
Disembodied voice. I don't have a camera.
Be a disembodied voice. What do you got going on?
Nothing.
I can hear Hunter coughing. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I don't think he was choking to death.
It's hard to do the show when you don't have a drink. He hasn't going to take any drinks.
What's coming up on the later the show? Maybe we can
later the show.
Maybe we can tease.
I almost want to talk about it now.
Yeah.
Well, later the show, Iowa Wesleyan fans. I think I should have. We're wrapping up Iowa Wesleyan softball here. There's very exciting games for different reasons on Thursday. Should I just jump into Iowa Wesleyan softball right now?
Sure.
We're gonna flip the script. We're going to talk about Iowa Wesleyan softball right now, and then I'll reveal what Hunter just revealed to me. So on Thursday, while Hunter's at the draft and I would have normally taken a 3-day trip to the Drake Relays, I saved the company a little bit of money because there was a very important happenings going on at Maple Leaf Athletic Complex. A sad news. Obviously, we know that Iowa Wesleyan is closing down on May 31st. That means that eventually you're going to have the last athletic events, and while we haven't had the last athletic events for Iowa Wesleyan yet, we had the last home athletic events. A bunch of teams bailed on the baseball team, so they couldn't have their like final home hurrah. Mm-hmm. In fact, their final home games were right after the announcement, and they did win a lot of those games. But Iowa Wesleyan was playing Hannibal LaGrange University. Who's an alma mater of Hannibal LaGrange University?
You.
I am, coincidentally enough. So it kind of that didn't really matter. But putting my own thoughts aside on it, it was a significant It was a significant doubleheader because not only because it was the last doubleheader in Iowa Wesleyan history, but Hannibal LaGrange is an American Midwest Conference team. Iowa Wesleyan was supposed to join the American Midwest Conference on next year. And so it was a very exciting doubleheader. Well, game one, Iowa Wesleyan rolled 8-1, which gave Coach Mike Hampton 665 career wins. And I kind of joked, they only had 3 games left after this, including this one home game. So I joked that maybe he shouldn't win anymore so he doesn't get to 666. But he sure did in game 2. And in an emotional moment, it was so Hannibal LaGrange was up 4-2 after the top of the 5th. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to pretend I'm only talking to you, even though we've got viewers. And Iowa Wesleyan came back, scored 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning, tied it up 4-4. Mm-hmm. Then there was 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Actually, there's 2 outs because Hampton made a little bit of a coaching error. The box was wrong, or the scorebook was wrong, so they had to give up an out there. So Kara Krieger, New London Tiger graduate, steps to the plate. 1 out. We're changing everything, Hunter. You're going to do that after the next commercial. You can go into tennis if you survive. So Kara Krieger steps up, 1 on, 2 outs, tie game. Obviously the the tension of the year is a little higher because everyone knows that this is the last Iowa Wesleyan home game. I think 2 strikes even, and just blast one, no doubter, over the left center field fence. Game-winning home run. They had to shut HLG out in the 7th inning, which they did. A 1-2-3 inning there in the 7th, but that made it 6-4. It was, it was a moment. I got a nice picture of Coach Hampton celebrating. Everyone was going crazy. It was kind of like this euphoric moment where it's the last hurrah for the Iowa Wesleyan softball team, and they won in very dramatic fashion. And also, Kara Krieger is a new London graduate. It's a local kid who's been around forever and who started as a freshman. So she's been at Iowa Wesleyan, for 3 years now? I think she's a COVID sophomore or whatever you call it, because she's got 5 years. And so yeah, it was a really cool moment. Emotional. That gave Mike Hampton 666 wins. Luckily, he didn't have to stop at that because they had 2 more games the next day against Harris Stowe State University, another American Midwest Conference team, funny enough. So, these are 2 of what could have been their future conference rivals. They dominated Harris Stowe 13-0 and 12-2. But it was, anyway, back to the significance of that home run. They didn't hit any homers against Harris Stowe, so it was Krieger's homer was the final home run in Iowa Wesleyan history. It was a game-winning home run. Mike Hampton, 668 wins. He's been coaching since on Maple Leaf since 1989. He said 89, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Do the math on the decades there, which is 5 decades, right? Yeah, because you also got the 2020s. So it was really cool. Iowa Wesleyan they played so well in the sport of softball the last month, really, even ever since I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but ever since the announcement, Iowa Wesleyan just kind of reached a new level in softball. They had a rough record earlier this year. They end up 19-24 overall. They're 4-0 in the CAC, Continental Athletic Conference. You'd sure think that would get you a conference tournament berth, but that's not how the CAC does it because there's an uneven number of games. Not everybody plays the same. Not everybody plays everybody. I just noticed that Hunter didn't bring a cup of water with him, which probably was a mistake. And so I went through, and they kind of go by regular season records too. Wesleyan was probably the 5th team of the CAC. Only 4 teams make it. They didn't say that Wesleyan's the 5th team, but going through, because I was like, what? They didn't make it? And then had to check it out. And they'd beaten teams that are higher than them on the thing. So that stunk for Wesleyan, but they knew that. And so it was a very emotional win for Iowa Wesleyan. And so they closed out not only the home schedule, but the overall schedule with happiness, with wins. They won 6 games in a row to close out the season, to close out Iowa Wesleyan softball. They won 6 home games in a row. So they went 6-1 at Maple Leaf this year. They didn't get a ton of games at Maple Leaf.
Yeah.
And so it was just a really cool, it was really cool that Wesleyan could go out winners. Close down Maple Leaf with a win. And then what happened, they had the Wesleys, the awards for the Wesleyan athletes, and Iowa Wesleyan surprised Coach Hampton at the Wesleys by inducting him to the Hall of Fame, which is really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so
cool.
I know. It was a very emotional moment. And then I had a personal emotional moment when Hunter revealed to me that Kara Krieger, who hit that home run, has announced that she's going to sign with Hannibal LaGrange next year, which, as I mentioned earlier, is my alma mater. So it's just kind of cool. So everything worked out so well there. I wish they went out in the tournament. The baseball team did get into the tournament. They have to play Georgia Gwinnett, the number 1 seed, the overwhelming favorite.
I think they're number 1 overall, too.
They are a great team. I talk to Coach Bieber every day because we pick up our kids together. And so they're going down on Thursday, and then they play on Saturday, and hopefully they can have a little magic. Wesleyan baseball has had some streaks where they've looked really, really good, too. Yep. The Wesleyan baseball team has a lot of talent. They have a lot of kids. And, it's taken a little while for them to build up. But the fact that their conference tournament team is pretty cool, too. And, you never know. Destiny could be on their side. We could be talking about Iowa Wesleyan baseball 3 weeks from now in the NAIA tournament for all we know. Yeah. So all they got to do is win that thing. So, that's all I got on a Wesleyan. Baseball, softball, golf was at the conference tournament. We still got track. Obviously, I talked about Blackwell. So there's still some Iowa Wesleyan stuff going on. But as far as home stuff is concerned, Wesleyan's all done with home stuff. So sad news, we'll miss him in the fall. But we'll still talk about him. It's not like this is the last time we're going to talk about him. But that's all I got. Just fun. Yeah. It's a fun time. And we're going to now go to a commercial, right? And then because then we'll save tennis for afterwards. Hunter is going to regather himself,
hopefully.
And yes, and yeah. So 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
We'll be back.
2.5 minutes. We will be back with the conclusion to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live.
Protection is important, especially when you're talking about your dreams, which is why we're going to keep you covered with plans that can save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. That's protection.
Family owned and operated by Andy and Sarah Ross, Ross Auto has been your vehicle repair and maintenance headquarters since 1935. We specialize in all makes of cars and light-duty trucks. With our variety of available services, let us help you keep rolling and your vehicle operating efficiently. Services include general auto repair, alignments, brakes, fuel injection, and more. Schedule your appointment today at 319-653-5656. That's 319-653-5656. Bring the kids and share the memories from steam engines, antique cars and trucks, tractors, gas engines, and horses. Maybe your memories are of great food from the North Village to the Log Village, or going to one of the amazing concerts. This is the place where memories are made. Make plans now to enjoy the history of the past at the 2023 Midwest Old Threshers Reunion, August 31st through September 4th in Mount Pleasant. Visit oldthreshers.com for more details.
Unbelievable amount of devastation. I've never seen anything like it.
We had a beautiful barn that was gone in 20 minutes.
Farm Bureau stepped up right away and said, hey, we got you and we'll be there for you.
We were taken care of. Now we could get on to repairing and rebuilding.
I tell everybody about Farm Bureau.
We're fortunate to say we have good coverage with good people doing it.
Contact Farm Bureau agents Tony Starr and Mike Welcher in Mount Pleasant today.
Welcome back to Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live, and we're going to wrap it up quick because we all have some big stuff going on in our lives to get going. But we need to wrap up this tennis, and Hunter had a little trouble. So we're going to take 2 of the tennis, and then we're going to get out of here. So Hunter, the floor is yours.
Yeah, yesterday I was in Fairfield. Boys, well, both tennis teams taking on Keokuk. Boys were dominant, had a dominant showing, 9-0 over the Chiefs. The girls, on the other hand, narrowly fell 5-4. I'll just quickly run through all the results. For the boys, Garrett Flanagan was a winner, 6-2 and 6-0. Jace Haynes, winner, 6-3, 6-2. Number 3 match, Ethan Cass, 6-0 in each of his 2 matches. Rylan Anderson, 6-4, 6-2. Nico Emerson, 6-0 and 6-1. Rocky Galusha, is that how you say his name? Rocky Galusha.
I wasn't paying attention. Yes,
Rocky.
I'm just going to say yes.
6-1 and 6-0. Sorry, Rocky, if I'm saying your last name wrong.
Sorry, Rocky, for not paying attention.
In doubles, Flanagan and Haynes were winners by sweep 8-0. Cass and Anderson were winners 8-2. And then Emerson and Galusha were winners 8-0. And the Trojan boys improved to 6-5 on the season. And on the girls' side, Maddie Greiner and Lola Hatchett were the 2 winners in singles. Greiner won 8-1, and then Hatchett 8-4. Sydney Wells fell 9-8, and then they battled again for the tiebreaker. There you go. I was trying to think of the word.
I was paying attention that time.
She fell in the tiebreaker there. Emma Wendelin fell 8-6 in the number 3 match. Gatika Adkiari fell 8-4. In the number 5 match, Una Carter lost 8-6. And then for the win, the Trojans needed to win all 3 doubles matches. They got 2 of them, but needed all 3, as I said. So Wells and Greiner were winners 9-7, and then Wendelin and Adkiari won 8-3. But Carter and Hatchet came up just short 8-2, and then number 3 doubles a match there. So, tough one for the Trojan girls there, losing by 1 match to the Chiefs, but real nice overall showing for the Trojan boys. And kind of funny story out of this is Ethan Cass, the kid he was playing. I believe, if I remember right, they were in like the 6th set or something like that. The 6th set were all set, and the kid blew out his shoes. So he's like, "Yep, I forfeit."
Oh, really?
It was like the.
I mean, what are you gonna do?
It was like the funniest thing ever. It was because they were just playing, and then like everyone was like so confused because he's like, "Yep," but he mumbles it, and I was like up kind of next to.
So you kind of heard
the picture. So I kind of heard him, and he just like walked off, and I looked over at Ethan. Ethan's like.
That's really funny.
He's like, I
can't do it without shoes.
He's like, I quit, I forfeit. And Ethan's like, what? He's like, oh, I blew out my shoe. It was so funny. He had this big hole in the shoe.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
I saw during basketball season, real quick. There was a Burlington kid, I forget who it was, that he was slumping against Washington as the game in Burlington.
Yeah.
And he literally just took off his shoes and threw them and yelled at someone to go to the locker room to get him new shoes. And then he dropped like 24 points on him. So we were kind of laughing about it. And then we were like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's like, I can't play in these. So more shoe drama. Oh, by the way,
it's just the shoes.
Do you have Mount Pleasant up? Because I didn't tell you to get Mount Pleasant up, but I have them right here if you need them.
I don't.
Mount Pleasant tennis did beat Burlington last night. This is one that we're holding over for the next day in the paper, which is probably why you didn't have it. Owen Van Sickle, Elliott Cook, Phoenix Watson, Tim Kamen, Gavin Ross, all winners. In singles play, Jenkins was the only loser. He lost in tiebreaker 9-7. And then doubles wise, Cook and Watson win 8-5. Cam and Lou Schimmelfigan 8-4 winners. And Van Sickle and Insminger lost 8-6. That's a 7-2 win over Burlington for the Mount Pleasant boys. They are 11-0, and then the girls fell to Burlington, so split for the Panthers against the Greyhounds. And I think that's all we got.
Yeah.
So that was a long and crazy Southeast Iowa Union Sports Talk Live, just the way we like it, though.
Yep. We said we were going to have a short one, and we didn't.
Yeah, we did. Did we say it on the air? We said to each other we were going to have a short one. But anyway, so yeah. Thanks for all our watchers. Share this link and stuff. Talk about us. Only good things. If you're going to share it and say bad things, just,
coming up in all our spring sports, so.
Yeah, we got postseason coming up. There is a big time reason to watch this show the next few weeks because we got a lot of sports and a lot of postseasons and a lot of craziness. So next week we'll be back. We'll have conference track. We'll have postseason. The pairings will probably be out for soccer. I can't promise that.
Conference.
Wesleyan baseball over at conference. We got lots of stuff going on.
Conference golf's coming up too.
Conference golf coming up very soon as well. So stick with the show, and we love our readers, listeners, and watchers.
Yeah.
And we'll see you
when next
week.